Hello, passengers, and welcome aboard the TV Pilot's License with service to South Georgia University. We ask that you please fasten your headphones, secure your podcasting device, and remember that if you ever embarrass yourself on today's flight, we actually have prosthetics in the back bathroom, so you don't exactly look like yourself, but most people will probably forget.
Welcome to the TV Pilot's License. My name is Geoff Kerbis, joined by Rich Inman and Max Singer. How you boys doing today?
Oh man, this show takes NIL to a whole different meaning.
Well,
Rich?
I can't beat that, so let's start the episode.
Well, gentlemen, this week we are going to talk about Hulu's Chad Powers. In honor of, Glen Powell, the All-American Man and the new Running Man coming out. But before we do so, and for our first-time flyers or our frequent flyers, what is this podcast all about, Max?
You comically rounded those vowels on Hulu. You sound like you're from Baltimore. Here at TV Pilot's License, we break down and analyze the pilot episodes of some of TV's most famous, or in some cases, infamous shows. We learn more about how these shows came to be and were originally made, if they're effective pilot episodes and make us want to watch more if we think they can be made today. Go back and stream our old episodes from wherever you listen to podcasts. Check us out. Were you warming up on football, Rich?
You sure was.
Check us out on YouTube and TikTok to see our smiling faces. And if it is your first time flying with us, then welcome aboard.
Yeehaw.
And Rich, what is your question of the week?
Oh, well, I don't think we've done a show that's based on someone going incognito somewhere. Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the comments.
You're saying we haven't done bosom buddies yet?
No, we haven't. And boy, that's an exciting episode. We got to figure out when to do that. I want to know, because this show is based on movie prosthetics, if you had access to A+ movie prosthetics and could change your appearance, what's the dumbest thing you would use it for?
I have to go immediately because, Rich, when you sent this, I immediately had an answer, and that is to get children's menu pricing. That's correct.
Wow.
I am definitely
What prosthetics will make you shorter than 6'1"?
Yeah, I've had a growth spurt, whatever. But let me get that. Sometimes you go to a fancy restaurant and you see chicken tenders on the menu, and you're like, you know what I want? Chicken tenders. And then when you get told by an grown adult that no, sir, you cannot have the chicken tenders because you are an adult, that hurts inside a lot. And
Hey.
Sometimes I want a chicken tender.
Wait, staff of the world, why are you guys gatekeeping the children's menu? What is the benefit of this? Why are you doing that? Yeah, you don't ask for ID for a children's menu. Why are you doing that? I'm not going to order a beer with my macaroni and cheese, but I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't.
If you let me get the kids' cheese quesadilla and a beer, I will tip you minimum 30%.
So $3.
Well, I got to go the opposite direction of Jeff, and I am going with the aging prosthetics to get the senior discounts for all movies, museums, and shows and parks. Did you know you could get like a permanent parks pass to all national parks for like a low rate if you are like over 60 years old? And I'm getting that. I'm getting the cheap tickets for the movies. I'm getting into museums for free. I am going full Johnny Knoxville bad grandpa, but for good. I'm going good grandpa.
Oh, wicked for bad grandpa.
Rich, you came up with this awesome question. What are you using prosthetics for?
I can only go with one answer, and this is basically very similar to your guys, but I'm talking unlimited Costco samples without feeling bad. You go around the corner, you got a brand new nose, baby. You're there all day. I wouldn't have to pay for meals for years.
All right, so Rich, I'm curious: is there a singular Costco sample that you're like, that's the reason I have to do the prosthetics? Because I have one in mind for myself, but I'm curious for you.
I'm thinking any past appetizer kind of a thing. If there's like a spinach puff, like a little spanakopita kind of guy, I'm eating at least. I'm eating minimum maybe? 30 of those.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I am living at the taquito samples.
personally, when it's like this time of year and they bring out the pumpkin pies and then they're like, oh, you want to remember how good these pumpkin pies are so you can take 2 of them home with you, then yeah, I'm going to go. I think you've unlocked the new secret formula to getting your pumpkin pie filled for this year.
My favorite thing, too, about that is that there's no rule saying that you can't just keep getting samples. It's just for myself. It's just personal guilt that I have to do.
It's an honor code.
I wish to have enough confidence to just stand in front of the sample space and just go at those samples one by one.
Are you saying this is real pumpkin?
Well, Rich, thank you so much for your question of the week. Let's talk a little bit more about Chad Powers. And we're going to start off with a quick synopsis. A disgraced college quarterback named Russ Holiday disguises himself as Chad Powers and walks on to a struggling Southern football team to revive his football career, which is absolutely what we just watched. But before we go too in-depth on Chad Powers, Max, how did this show get made?
Today, we are talking about the pilot episode of Chad Powers titled First Quarter, which originally aired on September 30th, 2025 on Hulu. And we are talking about the show's creators, Michael Waldron and Glen Powell. But before we even begin to talk about today's writers, we must first talk about Hall of Fame quarterback and 2-time Super Bowl champion, Elisha Nelson Manning. As part of his ESPN football history series of shorts titled Eli's Places, Manning attended a real-life open tryout at Penn State in 2022. Donning a blonde wig, prosthetics, and the same number 200 jersey we see today, the 15-minute segment of Manning shocking the Penn State squad racked up over 17 million views on YouTube and inspired official merchandise and landed Manning on the late-night circuit. Eli and his brother, Omaha Productions producer Peyton Manning, began to shop the character around Hollywood looking for an opportunity to expand their production banner beyond unscripted series. Actor Glen Powell jumped at the chance to try to acquire the rights and took a meeting with show co-creator Michael Waldron, a veteran of the Marvel Cinematic Universe who is behind the Disney Plus series Loki, penned Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and is also the creator of the wrestling drama Heels for Stars.
Ooh.
To prepare for the role of Russ Holiday, Powell worked with Nick Shamonic, Patrick Mahomes' personal quarterback coach. However, Powell wasn't the only one stepping outside his comfort zone, as Eli Manning took part in the show's writer's room. In February 2024,
it's
the only
explain some things.
All right. So wait a minute.
You're telling
me that there's 30 comedy writing jobs in the U.S. and Eli Manning is one of them. You know who doesn't? Tom Brady. I'll tell you that right now.
In February 2024, the show officially received a series order from Hulu for 6 episodes. The show is primarily filmed around Atlanta and Athens, Georgia, with football scenes filmed in Sanford Stadium at the University of Georgia, Walden's alma mater. Today's pilot is directed by Tony Ascenda, creator of the Netflix hit and one of my favorite shows of all time, American Vandal.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Georgia Southern, where some of the exterior shots were definitely filmed for this show, which is an awesome stadium. It's like partially open, but it looks like a baseball stadium. Rich, you would die for that stadium.
I'm Googling that right now.
This show, though, off the bat, before we even get into anything with it, aligns with our recent conundrum of just how big is this show supposed to be?
Yeah.
Because University of Southern Georgia feels like it should be a commuter direct, like a directional college.
You give the name of Southern Georgia, and then you also have a catfish as your mascot,
right.
And I don't think you're a power conference school.
No, this isn't even a D1 school whatsoever, and yet Sanford Stadium has a capacity at UGA of over 93,000 seats. Like the school to the
this is Blue Mountain State. This is Blue Mountain State ripping off Boise.
or like in Greek, where like I have no idea how big this college is supposed to be.
I'm curious, before we dive into this pilot, are y'all familiar with Rich, are you familiar with the clip that Max is talking about? This undercover tryout for the Penn State.
Buddy, you know I
walk-ons?
am. You know I am. This is and let this be a lesson to all you comedy writers out there. If you have a sketch with a character that you could potentially turn into a TV show, stay in line, because this is now between this and Ted Lasso and the Uncle Drew movie. we are really closing in on a lot of YouTube to TV content.
ABC's Cavemen walked so all these shows could run.
But like I decided before I watched this, I rewatched that Chad Powers thing, and I'll say this: I think that it is such a fun clip and like such a fun, like I absolutely see why someone watched that and was like, and even the Mannings were like, we have something here, we have a TV show here hypothetically. And they also had some other spin-off series where they Prime did a whole thing where they took celebrity athletes and like dressed them in disguise and made them do tryouts and stuff for other stuff. Like,
yeah,
there was something here for sure.
You know what they had? They had the Uncle Drew idea after everyone forgot about Uncle Drew. That's what happened. This is just Uncle Drew.
Kyrie Irving said some out-of-pocket shit, and it opened the door for a new undercover celebrity athlete.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about this show a little bit more. Let's dive into Chad Powers, and we're going to start off with our protagonist of Russ Holiday. Right there, I think that this show does an excellent job of giving us exposition before we even see what embarrassment Russ puts himself through by bringing us to the Rose Bowl, one of the pinnacles of sports, and then having Kirk Herbstreit tell us everything that Russ has done wrong in his collegiate career.
It is indeed the granddaddy of them all, and it's the exact same voiceover exposition as Blue Mountain State, where we get this overhead shot and we are establishing there is a lot of success here, but here's 4 things that this program has done that have caused its downfall in real time, and like why they are problematic, why they are troubled, and then we could jump into it.
But Rich, I'm going to go to you. How expensive do you think this show was? Because boy, did they shoot this football scene so beautiful. Like it is some of the best cinematography I've seen for a TV show to do of football. Like it made Friday Night Lights look like it was filmed with my home camcorder. Like it was one of those things where I was just like, the shots, the sounds, the feeling of this final play of the Rose Bowl felt really like realistic, which is such a weird thing to say about TV.
Totally. And gameplay is in sports is one of the hardest things to film. I don't know if anyone's for people listening at home, there is an incredible video of how they shot all the basketball scenes in Winning Time.
Hell yeah, I love that video. That dude on the rollerblades is my hero.
There is one of the main camera operators. There's just like a full-on basketball game happening. It is not staged. It is a real basketball game happening. It's probably choreographed, but it is just a guy ripping back and forth on rollerblades, filming these scenes, and I don't know how he doesn't beef it the entire time. It's one of the scariest things. Like, Tom Cruise, sit down. That guy is crazy. But I have become a little more disillusioned by that, Geoff, because I've watched some watched some videos on how Ted Lasso does their game stadium footage, and like how the crowd is basically just CGI, just like multiplied throughout the stadium. And, totally fine. It's like, a very normal thing. You can't expect 10,000 extras to show up for a scene. But they do an exceptional job with the gameplay of it. It is a very difficult thing to film. You can tell that from watching Friday Night Lights or Major League or anything like that. You think Wesley Snipes knows how to throw a baseball? Absolutely fucking not. It's one of the most difficult things to do, and they do it exceptionally well. I don't think this is a massive undertaking, but it's definitely they were very thoughtful with it.
Look, you get one camera angle and the nicest red cam that you can afford those Disney bucks, and you get some really nice cinematic shots. I'm with you though, Rich. I will take the Tony Hawk Boom Boom Huck Jam style of Winning Time over the very blatant blue screen of Ted Lasso any day of the week. And I actually thought that the Chad Powers close-up scenes were too slick.
Really?
I
agree.
like that kind of zoomed out, because like, this is Disney. This is ESPN. You have entire crews that know how to do sky views and know how to shoot these games. And to not make it look like the product you put out on TV almost took me out of it a little bit. Because, I mean, I watch so much college football on ESPN. I know what their camera styles look like. And I think I would have been a little more connected to the action and what was happening plot-wise if it looked like that versus making it look like a $300 million Marvel property.
What?
I think that's
What
super
about the
fair.
fight choreography? What do you guys think about the fight choreography?
I want that as slick as possible.
Everyone's slipping and sliding around during the fight.
Oh, man.
I mean, so let's talk a little bit about, for context for our audience, if you have not watched this show, you can find it on Hulu. But if you have and you're back, welcome back. Let's talk about this big dilemma for Russ. Why is today different than any other day? Because we're going to get a few of these, right? We get the first one, which was 8 years ago, which is, boy, does Russ Holiday have the same problem that like so many NFL players have, which is they don't know what an end zone is and when to drop a ball. And then to add on top of that, an unfortunate shove in an emotional moment that led to, you becoming the bad boy of college football in the worst way possible. I'm curious for the two of you, is this enough of a moment for you to despise this character, even though we just met him maybe a minute and a half ago?
I mean, he's very clearly supposed to be Johnny Manziel, right? Like, it's not, like, I don't think they're trying to hide that. Right?
It says an amalgamation when you look into like who they drew inspiration from, but it's Johnny Football.
Right. I mean, the only way they could have changed it away from Johnny Football is if he physically stole crab legs in the pilot of the episode.
Well, Jesus Christ. Jameis Winston just taking a shot right there. Jameis is the cousin.
Also free Jameis, he was innocent.
Yeah. No, but I mean, Max, what are you thinking as far as like, do you think they're doing a good job of making you hate the Russ character?
Oh, yeah, they're absolutely making you hate the Russ character from the jump, and they're doing it in such, I think, heavy-handed tells. I mean, he shoves a dad into his cancer patient son in his wheelchair, knocking him down. And then when we cut to modern-day Los Angeles, which is how you know he's evil, 8 years later, he's behind the wheel of a Cybertruck, which now this is the second show that I've seen this fall that uses someone driving a Cybertruck to just tell the audience that they're an asshole.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that to me is becoming such a kind of like campy tale of they're a dick, they drive a Cybertruck.
Let's talk about the heavy.
Can I pause for 1 second? I realize that Jameis Winston has done other things, and let's please cut out the part where I said free Jameis. He was innocent, because I was on Wikipedia for a second, and I realized that crab legs are a very small part of this. So if we could, I would like to bleep that out.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the nature of trying to explain what's happened over the past 8 years for Russ, right? Because I think that this show tries to cram in a lot in about 5 minutes worth of screen time for us.
Right.
And by giving us clues of, oh, he was on The Masked Singer. Oh, he did crypto for a little while. And then we get this moment in the club with his new agent trying to celebrate an XFL deal. And I'm curious because I knew this ahead of time. Max, when you saw the cameo that happened in the club, what did you think about life? Did you question why we were doing this pilot for like at least a second?
I don't know why you would say such mean things about actor Gabriel LaBelle. He was wonderful in The Fablemans.
Rich, I'm curious about you because Max won't take the bait. What did you think about seeing Hawk Tuah girl in this pilot?
Oh, you mean Act 2, star in that thing?
God damn it.
Look, it felt extremely like I was watching something that was made by a corporate entity entirely, and I know that this is for Gen Z. I know that there's so many elements of this show that is just for Gen Z. I'm going to that's fine. I want them to have that. But it almost, I will say it did kind of feel like she was in on the joke, where it was like, here's all these indicators that he's in the scammer part of his arc, of his story arc, the crypto thing, not Dancing with the Stars, Masked Singer, shit like that. I think it was good on her to take the role, because she knows that is going to be like, she's going to be viewed as a scammer because of it. So it was just an interesting choice.
Well, and TV takes so long to film. I remember seeing stills and footage from this over a year ago because, Powell's schedule is insane. He's one of the hottest leading men in Hollywood right now, and TV takes a long time to make. And when they got this cameo, I'm sure they're like, oh, man, this is hot and topical and funny. And
wait until we release this in July of 2024.
And fast forward a year, she's the person who's now caught up in a crypto scam. Her whole podcast empire has all but collapsed upon itself.
Wait, have we seen her and Arch Manning in the same room?
What if I told you both, because I have a little fun fact, that Haley Welch was not originally supposed to be in this.
Wait, are you talking about the video that came out?
Yeah, the video that has been confirmed, that there was actually a actress who filmed the role as a famous influencer, and then they decided, the studio said, wow, we could actually get someone. Let's get the Haktua girl. So they had the footage that they could have said, you know what? Haley Welch is not persona grata right now. Like, let's put in the actress instead who might have done a slightly better job.
You have to replace her with another like Vine or TikTok, like flash in the pan celebrity. Who do you put in that scene?
Oh, now I don't know people.
Like Chad Powers walks in the club, it's like, oh hey, LeBron James kid.
Wait, okay. Have you guys seen the guy on Instagram who's been making a perpetual stew for like 200 days?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You gotta go in with Hawk Stewa.
I would kill if it was Jules LeBron, the very demure, very mindful. That would have been such a great.
See, had this show come out in 2026, they would have had that person.
Damn.
Fuck, right? Like, fuck me.
You gotta wait for season 2, buddy.
Let's talk a little bit about this all is lost moment, though, because this pilot sort of approaches the hero's journey in a very interesting format, in that normally we get an all is lost moment towards the end, like the back quarter of a pilot, where our hero is realizing that they might not be able to figure things out. We get this in the first third of this show, where they're just like, well, fuck Russ. He's not going to go to the XFL because this kid with cancer died, and the XFL doesn't want the bad press. Which the jokes about the XFL in this show are low-key very funny.
I have such a bone to pick, though. I have such a bone to pick with that, because Russ's dad, played by Toby Huss of King of the Hill, calls it the Extreme Football League, when canonically the X stands for nothing. They have said from the jump that the X is just the X. It does not stand for extreme.
Actually?
Yeah, it doesn't stand for anything.
Oh, that sucks. That was a lawsuit. You know that at some point someone trademarked Extreme Football League and they couldn't say it.
Well, we watch Russ go through this moment that he thinks is a high, going back to a low because he's Russ. I want to talk about the cameo scene a little bit, because this scene was the most acting I think Glen Powell did in this pilot, and probably some of the most striking acting that was done in this pilot, because it seemed very real and I almost extremely sad. I was in a bit of a downer mood after this. What do you guys think as far as adding this on to the all is lost moment and making this a part of the show?
I think whatever you want to say about TikTok celeb cameos or product placements and things like this, Glen Powell is carrying this thing on his shoulders, and he is playing it real, and he's playing the stakes, and he is adding a lot of depth to it. And I think it's important to get the one moment where you see, despite all of the scamming and the attempts to hold on to 15 minutes of fame, that Russ is human, and he is searching for meaning in his life, and he is searching for, in a sense, like a way out from the hole he's dug himself into. He thinks the opportunity to go play in another professional football league and to have any shot at vindication, at least play the game he loves, is going to get him there, and that gets taken away. And later on, when he's asked, why do you play football? And he just says, 'cause like, I don't know who I am without it. And for a show that's all about running from things and creating identities, to be able to boil it down to like, I don't know who I am, and to say it that clearly, that is the one thing that the show does better than anything else that it does, and it's the thing that Glen Powell nails in it.
I almost wish that they leaned on that a little bit more, because they really kind of gloss
100%.
over it.
100%.
It definitely feels very like, that we've talked about this before, like the not this and that part of like formula writing for a screenplay or for a script. It's this happens and therefore this happens, that kind of thing. It feels a lot in this episode. And spoiler alert, I've watched more than this episode, but it kind of feels a little bit more like that throughout a lot of it, where it's just like a lot of things happen and they don't seem to be causing one another. It is just like a lot of things happen to this protagonist, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, there's definitely, I think there's a lot of, and Eli Manning, if you want to come on the pod and talking about your writing skills and development and how you put together this pilot, I would love nothing
I don't think
more.
he was running the room, buddy.
I think Eli was running the room like he used to run the Giants offense to 2 Super Bowl winning teams. I mean,
he keeps saying audible, and it's not an audiobook. I'm sorry.
Because I do think it's super interesting. This show directly references Mrs. Doubtfire, right? Like, we get this.
Oh, yeah.
We get this epiphany moment with Russ, right, where everything has lined up in this perfect storm, where he has these movie grade prosthetics. He has I want to know how many times he had to charge the Cybertruck to make it to Georgia Southern from LA. I have a lot of questions about what the route looked like, especially what part of Texas did he decide to drive through? But we also get the Stephen A. talking about, I would also take this. I would go and try out in this moment. And I think for a show that references Mrs. Doubtfire directly, there was a little bit to learn from Mrs. Doubtfire as a movie.
I thought you were about to...
He hasn't lit himself on fire yet, but there's other episodes in this season.
There is way too little whipped cream in this pilot to be referencing Mrs. Doubtfire.
I really thought you were about to drop like any excuse to get an Eagles Invincible moment in there. I really thought you were about to do that.
Absolutely not.
No, we're going to reference some other mediocre football movies from the 2000s later on.
Oh my God. You leave Invincible alone. But what I'm speaking to more so is like, I think that Mrs. Doubtfire, and one of the things I love about Mrs. Doubtfire is the idea that, yes, we have this kooky concept, but we are able to emotionally level with the character of what they're going through. That drives them to this moment of insanity that, like, if you look at Mrs. Doubtfire on paper without Robin Williams, you're like, oh my God, a man has gone insane.
Yeah.
And is basically making up an identity so he can be closer to his children as he goes through a tumultuous divorce. But it's Robin Williams. So you're like, oh, it's wonderful.
He's not going to murder them. It's not going to be a murder-suicide. It's Robin Williams.
Give me an hour and a half. I can cut that into the greatest horror movie you've ever seen in your life. But like this show, we get this moment of, all right, a guy wants to get glory again. His last shot at football was taken away from him, either of or of not his own consequence. And let's go to Southern Georgia and be introduced to an entirely new crew of people for this unfortunate university, it feels like, as we're introduced to it. How are you guys feeling about this epiphany moment? I'm curious.
I mean, it does make me want open tryouts for more teams.
Yes.
I think it's like a thing that really only happens in TV shows and movies, like a powerhouse program doing an open tryout. That's very funny to me. But I was like, I'm glad that they eventually got to it pretty quickly in terms of like
for sure.
How the pilot goes. Because I don't, my favorite phrase, when are they going to get to the fireworks factory? When's he gonna put on the stupid nose and wig and talk in a funny voice? And we get it. We get it pretty fast. And I want to see more of his football ability. That is like,
sure.
We don't have a lot of deep personality yet in Russ, and I want to know if we're not going to have more complex dialogue, I at least want to see him hucking some footballs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, truly. What this pilot does succeed in is the Diet Bobby Boucher voice that Glen Powell puts on. Seeing a guy in the most absurd prosthetics just absolutely yeet a perfect spiral 40 yards downfield, and the deep realization of, I don't know who I am without this sport. And we use the two goofy things, A and B, to get to the serious thing, C. And everything else in this pilot, I don't quite feel gets to that. And as we meet this supporting cast at Southern Georgia, I don't know if you guys felt any connection to supporting characters, to B and C plots we tried to establish.
I have two notes about that.
Okay.
One, them making the head of the university, Wynn Everett, who is also the woman who is in the SEC commercials, is the funniest fucking joke for college football fans. Because as soon as I clocked her, I was like, it does just mean more. It does just mean more in this instance. But I do want to, this is a thing that I love about this pilot that I wanted to sort of talk about a little bit more. I love Steve Zahn in this pilot. I
just love him in general.
I think that he is, Max, you're giving
the
me
Zahn
a look.
father.
No, continue.
I think that there is such a one, just love him in general, right? Just as
He's
Rich
built up a
just
lot of
said.
goodwill.
But the thing that I think I like about this character and this concept and this arc, right, is we talk a lot about players. We talk a lot about the idea of focusing on mascots or focusing on like these silly things, but especially, and maybe this is just me in the current today's climate, right, of college football, where we're seeing coaches just get fired here and there. But I think some of the best character development that we get in this pilot is around Coach Hudson, of the idea of this is a guy who is struggling to meet the standards of a university that demands excellence while also being like losing his marriage, right? That's established fairly quickly. And then we get the fun little added twist at the end of, also he is under siege because he hired his own daughter to be a member of his staff, and she looks up to him but also wants to be her own entity. It's a lot of stuff in a little period of time that I really liked.
Yeah. See, but to me, it felt like a lot of people just saying things to describe Coach Hudson. He's under pressure by a university president who demands more and won't settle for 7-5, 8-4 type seasons
because it just
anymore.
means more.
Because it just means more. He has this little tidbit of like, well, if I get fired, is Coach Ricky going to be able to, stay on the staff? And later on, we learned that line has value because he says, you could call me dad. But we're not really exploring the relationship there a lot. And to me, the thing that Steve Zahn contributes the most to this pilot is giving the like big moment that launches us into episode 2, that he reveals the big twist that Russ Holiday has to figure out to continue the illusion. But I don't know a lot about him, and I don't know a lot about the rest of the staff too. You have Coach Scott Dobbs, played by Clade Crawford, who we last saw on Lethal Weapon. There's a lot to talk about there. We have Coach Ricky, played by Perry Mattfeld, who I found out is married to Mark Sanchez, so it's been an interesting couple months for her as well. But like his arc is just being a dick to this assistant coach and not trusting her to actually be good at football and just providing sexist commentary. Like, he has no discernible characteristics other than be asshole to woman on staff.
I mean, should we just jump into wait a minute moments then? Because like I feel like we all have bones to pick.
Let's give it a second, because we do get a little bit more, right? We do get this Danny character who seems to be the partner, right? The person who is going to help Russ be able to assimilate to being back in university life, being in a brand new place, trying to make sure that Russ can succeed, and is someone who acts in a lot of good faith in this episode. Almost, some might say, too much good faith to a stranger. But I'm curious for you do we think that the Russ character was needed the Danny character was needed in this, with his very, very detailed, this is where the show's budget went to mascot outfit of a catfish.
Danny is when I realize that this is written like an MCU property, because everything that Danny does is very exposition-y. It's shouting things like, oh my god, you're Russ Holiday, I know you from Dubois, a very niche joke that you had to get. Definitely not beating This Is for Gen Z allegations. You might be onto something there. And then just shouting lines like, are you still any good? Or what are you gonna do now? And it's like everything that he does is this kind of shepherdy, exposition-y comic relief that just pushes forward the narrative of how Russ/Chad goes through his day. But his wants, I feel like, are so weak. When they ask him, like, why are you doing this? All he can say is, because I believe that we're all human, deserve a second chance, partly because if it works, you owe me. And I really dislike that he flip-flops on what his motivation is. Yeah. Because, again, it's just like, it feels like MCU. I don't feel like you're, like, showing me anything. I feel like everything Danny does is just telling.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, and sorry for spoilers, the Danny character does not get more complex as the season goes on.
Interesting.
It is like, and having watched more of it, going back and talking about the pilot is so crazy, because like they missed a true opportunity to give him more depth, because when you get to like episode 4 or episode 5, which hilariously, they're it's named first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter.
There's 6 episodes.
And then it goes fifth quarter and then sixth quarter.
It goes to double overtime?
That's the dumbest.
It's so dumb. I love it. It's one of my favorite things about this entire series. It's so stupid.
It's a game and a half. It is a game and a half of the show.
But I think with Danny, you have to give him a reason to keep hanging around, because you know it's only going to get worse for them. Like, it's a TV show. You know it's going to get worse. And it's so inexplicable why this character cares so much. And like, I understand the scam nature of it, where it's like, I help you do this. Give me some money. I don't like it. Yeah. It just doesn't feel like comprehensible.
All right. We can, spoiler alert, Chad makes the fucking team. All right. Like, Chad makes the fucking team.
Wow. That's actually how the episode ends too. That's what it says.
Spoiler alert. Chad makes the team. We get some emotional talk about the deer in the field as he's talking to Ricky, and she reveals a little bit more about her backstory. But I want to talk about things that we loved, and then leave us some time to talk about wait a minute moments for this pilot a little bit. What were some things that you loved about this pilot that maybe we didn't discuss in depth and you wanted to give some shine to?
Max, you want to?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. I will actually say that this is such a fun Glen Powell vehicle. Sure. And I have seen him elevate average material on so many occasions now, whether it's something like Scream Queens or the feature Anyone But You. He can take average scripts and get them to a pretty solid place. And his commitment to this, from his physicality to the voice that he puts on to even his commitment in the football scenes, this is a perfectly good slapsticky physical comedy vehicle. And to me, this also just feels like the antithesis of like, if this had been a 2-hour sports comedy movie, I might be having a very different conversation with you, because he is so charismatic in this. But yeah,
I cannot agree with you enough about that, because I think that Glen Powell is a true highlight of this show, right? Like I when I heard that he was doing this, and then I saw Hitman really relatively soon after it was announced that he was going to be doing this show, I was like, oh fuck yeah, that makes a ton of sense. This is a guy who can take a very thin character and make it into something much larger and much more deep as well. So if you're taking a skit on a variety show that Eli Manning was in and then trying to turn it into a full-length show, like, perfect guy to bring that about. But the thing I will also say that I liked about this, I talked about Steve Zahn. I think that he was fantastic in this for what he was given as well, is like, good on Glen Powell for actually like going and learning how to like throw a football and like look like an a quarterback.
That's true.
That is not something that there are so many instances. The only other actor that I can point at and say, boy, did they do a great job, Keanu Reeves in The Replacements, which is like, that is such it takes someone to take shit seriously to go and like actually do that, and he
Glen
did.
Powell came from the Tom Cruise school. Like, he is like the guy that Cruise has taken under his arm. And if you're going to learn from that person, that absolute psychopath Tom Cruise, then you're going to learn how to play a football. It wasn't on the table for Glen Powell to show up and just toss the pigskin around. He was going to put in the same training, because that's what he's been conditioned to do by the people who have looked out for him.
Rich, do you have any things that you love about this pilot that maybe you wanted to discuss in more depth?
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. We keep alluding to it, but the gameplay is exceptional in this show, and you have to commit to wanting to actually portray the action that this person is supposed to be exceptional at. And there are so many examples of people who don't try, or they just don't get it, or whatever. It's just endless examples of that. But to go above and beyond to actually work with a quarterback coach is pretty impressive, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, there's people like Robbie Amell, who's now famous for how he threw a football in, I forget what that movie was, but in The Duff. Oh my God, if you guys ever have seen The Duff, boy, watch it, because my boy Robbie has no idea what he was doing with that football in that moment in time. What about wait a minute moments, things that cause you pause? I think we've definitely been alluding to the idea that there might be things wrong with this pilot, or things that we think are wrong with this pilot. So I want to hear from the two of you. Max, you've been so patient. I want to reward you with the first wait a minute moment.
I don't think I have ever seen a pilot that has its corporate overlord sponsorship fingers all over it as much as Chad Powers. Because every single reference, every single thing we see or talk about is another Disney-owned property.
Right.
The fact that he goes to the Fox lot, owned by Disney, where he sees a massive poster for Mrs. Doubtfire, a 20th Century Fox production, owned by Disney. He competed on The Masked Singer, a Disney property. The reference of the bowl game that they do not want to keep going to is the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, which is an SEC-sponsored bowl game, which has its rights owned by ESPN, ABC, Disney. That is broadcast on ESPN, owned by Disney. They frequently call him by the character of Radio, alluding to the Cuba Gooding Jr. film from the 2000s. They use this to make fun of him and say that he
Who's that owned by, Max?
That is a Disney movie. and like every single thing that we hit on and allude to is something that is owned by Disney, whether they use it to punch up or they punch down themselves. They don't care, because they have the rights and the ability to get away with it. Also, the entire tryout sequence framed dead center in the shot, no matter what angle that Russ Holiday was on the field, there was just a massive Allstate logo staring at you at the back of the goalpost. I have just never seen something that is so tied to its corporate identity,
so commoditized,
as this show. It is pretty much just an ad to promote the SEC being on ESPN for $1 billion deal.
And don't get me wrong, Apple is an extremely very clandestine example of this in all their shows. In every single Apple show, none of the antagonists are allowed to use an iPhone, but all of the protagonists have iPhones. That is like a detail in every single Apple property.
That extends beyond Apple. That's like, you can't use iPhones if you're a villain. You can never have a case on an iPhone if you show it in a TV show or movie, which just really sets up false expectations.
Yeah, no, that is
use a
rude.
case.
Yeah, please. Go ahead, Rich.
This is okay. You have cast Glen Powell and Steve Zahn in a TV property. You are leaving the Ferrari in the garage, man. It is.
Yeah.
These are two impeccable actors. There's probably more examples, and I'm sorry I'm blanking on more names right now of people who are exceptional actors in this show. But you got to let Zahn be Zahn, baby.
Yeah.
You have a tremendous 3-decade acting career behind one of your people, and then also the biggest male lead in Hollywood right now. It is truly mind-blowing that they didn't get this is a writer problem for sure. This is 100% a writing and directing problem.
Rich, I'm glad you're speaking to that, because I want to bring up my thing in my notes. I have, wow, they finally did it. Barstool wrote and produced a TV show.
Dog.
Because I think that one of the things that this show suffers from is being crass for no reason whatsoever. Yes. And we just did Blue Mountain State.
The lead
and
booster.
I am saying, I'm literally, if I was to say which is more crass, this or Blue Mountain State, I'd be like, oh boy, I don't know, right? Like, because there's something to the Blue Mountain State. It is done in the form of true comedy, right? In slapstick version of comedy, and to get laughs. And there's moments where I see them do it in the show, and I'm just like, I don't know who that was for in the audience, because I don't think it adds. And I go back to the Mrs. Doubtfire thing, right? If you don't have an emotional connection with your characters, in this instance of why they're doing this, we just talked about Danny and flip-flopping, right? We're talking about the idea of Glen Powell, and we make him this gigantic villain, and then we don't give him a reason why we're rooting for him at the same time. And then I could also say the same for like Ricky, right? This coach's daughter, who's now on the staff, who like might be smart, but also we don't know at the same time. It's a lot of surface level without depth. And I like Eli Manning. If you're listening to this, one, thank you for listening to the podcast. Two,
don't say go birds. Don't say go birds. Don't say go birds.
No. I will say, I'm going to give a small aside. I met Eli Manning once, and I wanted to hate him so much, because this was like when I was 14 years old. And like when you're like, oh, the person who plays against my team is an evil person and not a human being. One of the nicest people I have ever met in my entire life. And I just, like, I wanted to hate the man. Eli, if you are responsible for more than 10% of this pilot, hang it up, bud. You got to do it once, and that's it.
Enjoy the Manning cast.
You have so much money. Just go and have fun with that money and raising your children. You don't need to be a TV writer, too. And, like, that's what makes me sad about this is a great idea that was not spent. There was not nearly enough time spent on.
We can't all be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar writing for Veronica Mars. Like, some people aren't meant to be able to do both.
Look, we'll never be that. Number one, because I can't dunk. And number two, because Veronica Mars is over.
Oh my gosh. Well, we do have one more question, and that is an in-flight question. And let me pull up our in-flight question really quickly. Our in-flight question this week comes to us from Instagram from Tom in Maryland. And Tom asks, if you were a 5-star recruit, where would you have played college football? Tom, one, I'm very gracious that you think any of us could be 5-star athletes. So, Max and Rich, if you were a 3 to 5-star recruit, where would you play college football?
Buddy, they don't
Star.
No, the stars don't come for me. That's a great question. I think I like Tom Petty. I'd play for Florida.
Yeah,
I feel like
why not?
And that's the only reason.
Yeah, that's why you go to Gainesville. Tom Petty.
Aside from the weird militarization of it, A&M seems like a really fun place to play. That does seem like it's weird how much military shit there is there, but
they're cultish.
Yeah, but have you seen that border collie on the sidelines?
Yeah,
it's so cute.
That's my dog.
Yeah. Max, I'm curious about yourself.
All right, I am going to Bowling Green State University for 2 reasons. One, I want to hang out with Pudge the cat.
Hell yeah.
You gotta.
And look up Pudge if you don't know what I'm talking about. He's an adorable cat. Has become their unofficial mascot. 2, MACtion, the Midwest Athletic Conference, they play a lot of their conference games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so I'd have my weekends free.
Priorities. He can still do improv and be on the football team.
Yeah, I got stuff to do on Saturdays, man.
Yeah, you're in the MAC. You got to be doing improv while you're also playing football.
Oh my God. Yeah, for myself, I would definitely. It depends on the era, right? Because if you were to tell me that this was still when Miami played at the Orange Bowl, I'd be like, oh, absolutely, go and play in the Orange Bowl. The U still has a hold on me.
Sure.
From growing up in South Florida. It's such a culture. But I would probably say if it was not Indiana University, which still historically is the losingest program in football history.
Until next year, baby. Then it's Rutgers.
Hell yeah. Well, no, I think Northwestern is like next up on the list, which
sucks.
is like, let's go Dorks. But I would say it'd probably be University of Texas, in all honesty. Austin's a pretty damn cool place to be, and they've got, I could like be semi-decent at school, hypothetically. So like, yeah, let's go Longhorns.
Do you think you guys could play at LSU and not gain 100 pounds food-wise?
But
I mean, I would need to gain 100 pounds to even be like safe on the football field.
Max, it's like that scene in Not
These
Another
are injury
Teen
prevention. These are injury prevention boudin balls.
What was it? Not Another Teen Movie where the kid doesn't want the ball thrown at him and then he gets snapped in half or some shit like that.
Yeah, man,
That is
I'm
Max
just
Singer.
I'm just like drinking etouffee with protein powder mixed into it.
That's my man. That's an O-line built on gumbo.
Well, I think it's MIT. They have like a lightweight football team because they just don't have the kids who are like the correct size, so you can't be over 200 pounds and play. Which is like,
Jesus.
Sure, why not? Like, let's do it. I'm
Those
all
are Pop
for it.
Warner rules.
Yeah.
Wait, MIT has BMI restrictions?
Well, Tom, thank you so much for that in-flight question. If you have an
The
in-flight
first all
question
snatched football team. Sorry.
that you would like, if you have an in-flight question you want to submit to the show, you can submit those at tvpilotslicense.com. You can also shoot us a voicemail or leave us a text at 213-290-1713. Let's talk about the history of this show. This show currently has 1 season and 6 episodes. As far as the performance of the show, it seems to be doing pretty well, right? It premiered in late September. It was featured as the 4th most streamed show on Disney Plus and on Hulu.
Boy, they're marketing the hell out of it.
They really are, because Boy was self-promoting themselves not the way. Take money from other people to promote your stuff. And the numbers that I saw is that it had about 25 million views over the first 2 weeks, which for a streaming property, pretty damn good, especially when you're debuting a show about football during football season, when we're now in that weird time period of the year where there's football every day of the week until like February or some shit like that. Oh yeah, it's wild. So yeah, like it's a choice, but I understand why they did it. Right now, season 2 is up in the air. I don't know if season 2 is a possibility because I have only watched the pilot of this show, but hey, I've been seeing a lot of articles from Disney-owned properties saying why Chad Powers deserves a season 2, which the calls are coming from inside the house, so I assume we're probably getting more Chad Powers.
If this wasn't a big enough red flag for them to not put this out, they're getting season 2 for sure. If Glenn can fit this in with his increasingly insane schedule, we're getting season 2 for sure.
And yeah, as far as awards go, no awards because this hasn't gotten to go through an award season. We're talking about a show that's last episode debuted 1 week ago. So if you are curious about whether Glen Powell gets a surfboard, I bet he already surfs. That's a dumb question from you. Why are you asking me dumb questions?
Do the ESPYs divide into comedy or drama? How does that work?
Yeah, if it's a 30-minute game, then it's a comedy. But if it's a 60-minute game...
but baseball is a limited series or movie.
But that is the history of this show. Rich, it is time for your game of the week.
Well, we've been talking about it all day. Let's talk about some athletes undercover, everybody's favorite thing. Naturally, Chad Powers is a sketch derived from an original idea of NBA player Kyrie Irving going in disguise as an old man to a pickup basketball game in, I want to say, New York, as Uncle Drew. It eventually spawned its own movie. The original video was an advertisement, of course, for what soda? Is it A, Pepsi Max, B, Diet Mountain Dew, C, Sprite, D, Sierra Mist?
Sprite. Or no, Sprite, it's Sierra Mist, right? Because Sprite is LeBron. I believe Sierra Mist signed Kyrie as a juxtaposition.
Well, I mean, Sprite was the official soda of the NBA, and then it became Starry, but this is old enough that I'm going to say that it is Sprite.
It is Pepsi Max. Pepsi Max is the originator of the athletes undercover movement. All right.
Kyrie being a contrarian, who would have thought?
Some people say
they won't tell you what Max stands for, man. All right. Second question. After his brief retirement from the NBA, his first one, Nike and Michael Jordan made a series of advertisements pretending that Michael was playing in the NBA still under a disguise with the name Johnny Kilroy. Mm-hmm. All of the ads featured a detective trying to get to the bottom of it. That detective was played by A, Wayne Knight, B, Spike Lee, C, Bill Murray, D, Steve Martin.
Oh, go for it, Max.
I think is this B, Spike Lee? Is this like the It's Gotta Be the Shoes campaign?
Ooh, I like that. I want it to be Bill Murray, but I think that Rich is trying to get me to pick the Space Jam answer. So I'm going to say
always
Steve
pick the Space
Martin.
Jam answer. Max, that was a different campaign, the All About the Shoes campaign. It was, in fact, Steve Martin. Steve Martin played the detective. And people involved in this, they got a ton of NBA players to be involved in this campaign. I assume all Nike athletes. And Phil Jackson to be part of this whole scheme that Michael Jordan is wearing an afro wig, competing as Johnny Kilroy, and scoring 79 points a game for the Bulls. But yeah, thanks for playing athletes undercover.
And then I will just... I'm going to point to, there was the great, I don't know if either of you guys saw when Deion Sanders was still with the NFL Network.
Leon Sandcastle?
Yeah, Leon Sandcastle is an all-timer.
You know I looked that up.
Leon Sandcastle is an all-timer. And
that was a Super Bowl.
And let's not forget when in-game Mets manager Bobby Valentine was ejected and came back to the bench wearing a fake mustache and glasses.
Oh, you mean Guy Incognito?
Oh, my gosh. Well, gentlemen, as our flight is getting set to take a landing, I'm curious, and I have two questions for each of you. And the first is, based off of the pilot and the pilot alone, would you watch more of this show? Do you want to see what Russ Holiday's journey looks like? And then the second question is something that we have addressed a lot. We've addressed the idea of more sports shows on TV, but I think that I'm going to take a little bit of a different route, and that is, Glen Powell's a fucking movie star doing television, right? Like, this is, let's just talk about it. We don't get many movie stars, like current day movie stars, doing TV that often. do we want to see more of this? Do we want to see more movie stars doing fun projects that they're excited about, as opposed to just sticking to the silver screen or, wherever you watch movies these days? Rich, what are you thinking?
Well, my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes on watching more of this show. Because I also did not like the pilot the first time I watched it and then kept going anyways. Was it a stupid decision? Probably. Who knows? We only have one precious moment on this earth, and I used it. I spent it watching Chad Powers.
I can't get this man to watch a musical, but he decided.
Goddamn right. Well, was Hamilton about a football player? No.
What is a football player if not a man who is leading? Hamilton, truly the quarterback of our founding father.
Welcome to TV Panel's coverage of Chad Powers, the episode where Rich defends Jameis Winston and accidentally quotes R. Kelly.
No. Okay. So yeah, I have watched more of this. You got, I guess, the addition of my favorite character in this, which I forgot was not in the pilot, and yeah, I mean, I don't think there is a drop off in quality anymore between TV shows and movies. The difference is, if you're doing TV, you got to play the game a lot more. Mm-hmm. If you're doing a movie, there's a lot fewer people telling you no. There's a lot fewer people questioning your artistic endeavors, your chances, your storylines, and stuff like that. I don't think we'll live in an era where we see Leo doing a streamer show or anything like that, but I could eat my words in maybe 3 years. Hollywood's pretty dead right now, so they might take any chance they can get. So yeah, that's where I'm at. It's not I don't think there's a lot more fluidity between TV shows and movies right now.
Max?
Yeah, this didn't do it for me. There's just no amount of Disney magic that you can sprinkle onto this that's going to get me on board for the second episode, unfortunately. And for your second part, I mean, we're there. There's no difference anymore. Julia Roberts did Homecoming for Amazon Prime. Robert Downey Jr. did The Sympathizer for HBO. Glen Powell's in this for Hulu. Like, anyone now can find time for a 6 to 10 episode miniseries type show. Like, the walls have come down. You're not committing to 27 episodes of TV anymore in this landscape. And so I don't have a problem with it. If you want to explore a character and this type of storytelling, an actor is an actor. Like, there is no TV is the B league and movies are the A league. Like, the work is the work, and if you're doing good work, I will support it.
Totally.
Yeah, and
that's why Max is watching episode 2.
Yeah.
Is Gabriel LaBelle back? Just tell me that. Does he come back?
Which one is that one again?
He's his agent.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I'm out.
No, no, but you get weird Christian quarterback that comes in.
For myself, this gets one more episode to prove itself.
Wow.
Right, which then will mean that I have watched a third of this show, which we'll take that for what it is.
A third of the quarters.
Yeah, exactly. A third of the quarters. That's the episode title. That's the episode title right there.
I can't wait to see if someone does like AI, like the transcriptions of the episode, how they're going to write that. I just blew up a warehouse in Ohio.
But as far as, superstar, like movie stars on TV, I'm all for it, right? I'm all for the idea of, if someone is feeling fulfilled from the work that they're doing, no matter what the medium is, do the work. If you're a movie star and you also love writing on your blog, fuck yeah, go and write on your blog. Or like, if you have a YouTube channel and you really enjoy just doing mukbangs on your while you're also getting Oscar noms, I don't know. I dare someone to do it. Brie Larson, I think you're my best bet at doing it because you're promoting your cookbook right now. So like, you know what? Do the things that you enjoy doing. Don't worry about it ruining your brand. If you're in PR and you're
Yes, Jeff, we never should have unmasked Lord's secret Instagram account where she just rated onion rings. Like, we should never have blown that up from her.
But, like, my big thing is, if you are in PR or managing and you have someone that you are working with who is super passionate about something and you're telling them, nah, that's a little bit below you, fuck yourself. Like, who the hell do you think you are? So, like, I truly...
What was that?
Max doesn't want to give a full standing ovation, so he just wants to do a little
you're snapping in the jazz club.
Oh my god! But yeah, I'm fully of the belief of if you get excited about a project, go and do that project with full force, no embarrassment, and have a hell of a time. Well, gentlemen, that is our flight. But before we go, I want to make sure that folks can find you no matter where you are or where you want to be found. So, Rich, where do you want folks to find you?
You can find me applying to write for season 2 of Chad Powers. I can fix this. I can let Zahn out of the cage, baby. Give it to me. Let me have it. You can also find me on Instagram at Damn That's Rich. You can find original sketch comedy for Max and myself over on TikTok at Dadwagon Comedy.
Max?
You can find me also stealing props and costumes from the Fox lot for my own nefarious plots. And on all things social media at Maxwell Sing.
And you can find me hiding from Dave Portnoy and the Barstool Boys. But if you're looking for me on social media, you can find me at Run Jeff Run. If you're looking for the TV Pilot's License, you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can also watch our smiling faces on YouTube and find us on most social media channels. If you have a question about the show or for our next episode, you can always go to tvpilotslicense.com. You can give us a call at 213-290-1713 or even shoot us a text message. Make sure to watch out for some of the stuff that we have coming up, but with the plane landed and the seatbelt sign off, we look forward to flying the bright skies of the TV world with you again soon. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies and your fingers on the dial.
I learned more about Jameis Winston and I regret what I said.